right, good morning guys. It is freaking 7 a.m. We are on our way down to see our boys over at ATF. They are going to tear into this transmission, pull it apart, and we can hopefully get it back today. That's my goal. I want to just wait around for it so I don't have to make the drive back or deal with shipping or anything like that. I'd rather just spend the day down there, get it figured out, figure out what's wrong, and be back tomorrow with it. And be back tomorrow and put it in the car first thing tomorrow morning. That would be the goal. Is if this video could have the trans back in the car, that would be really cool. So we will know what broke today, which is really exciting. I actually genuinely enjoy breaking parts because it's a good learning experience if they don't, you know, cost you a huge amount. But if things break, we are pretty much going to change something. We're going to figure something different out. We're going to, you know, something's going to change. So we're going to put that trans back together and be back on the road before we even know it. So we've got a couple more weeks left here before it's probably pretty rainy every day. So I'd like to get some more testing in. Got a couple of events coming up, so I'd like to have this thing back together. But now time to stop at McDonald's, get some coffee, egg McMuffin, and make the 3-hour trek south. All right, I'm here at ATF again. You guys love this place when me and Jason were talking for a while. Jason is really awesome. It is a lot later in the day now because I last updated you guys at like 7 a.m. on my way here, but we've just been talking for a while. We took apart the trans. They already have it fixed and back together. I'll show you what broke in a little bit, but I just got to go for a ride in Pedro's Baltic Supra.
Grace family, what's up guys? True honor to take Cooper for a ride.
It was wild. I'm not a good passenger, I'll be fully honest.
You warned me ahead of time. I didn't give you the best conditions either. I brought him a car with no, he called it a 3-point harness. There was no shoulder belts. I have them, I don't have them installed right now, so he had just lap belts.
Yep.
There was pretty extensive traffic, but it made for a fun little clip.
Exactly. So this car is very similar to my car in a lot of ways. It has a ATF built 400, which is one whole gear better than mine. Yeah. And then it has the same size turbo, I'm pretty sure. Yep. And it's a 3-liter. You have a little bit more built at, bottom end than I do, so but it makes like 1800.
Yeah, this is actually a 3.2 now.
Oh, 3.2.
So I ran a 3.0 liter up till around, I think I'm like a 770 or so. And it could have gone faster than that, but when I refreshed it, I decided to go billet crank. It's got a BC 3.2 liter billet crank, Grove Street Performance, low motor. But these cars are incredible, dude. I enjoy watching your Camaro, and just 2Js in general. They're just incredible cars. The way they rev out, the way they sound, the abuse we put these cars through. I run the heck out of this car. I drove it an hour south today to come hang out with Cooper and the guys here at ATF Speed. I'm gonna drive it back home.
It was definitely much appreciated because he came down, brought us steaks, grilled them up, some mashed potatoes. Man,
I owed it to this guys, man.
I am envious of your street ability of this. You have so much street ability. You have big brakes on the front. You got a freaking brake booster. Yep. Look at that, guys. You see what that is? That's air conditioning.
Yeah, an AC compressor.
You went 730s.
The car recently went a 737 at 188. And it's crazy because I shared in one of my recent videos with my wife. She's now getting into drag racing. And I know you're
they're in the same boat.
Gone as well. But I went recently with her, and we went that day to the track searching for a 13.9 for her. And the second she did it, it was such short-lived. And I played the video back. I'm like, look at this. Like, we came here looking for this. Within 5 seconds of enjoyment, she's like, I think I can do better than this. So that's, I go back to us. Like, the car recently went at 737. I was telling Cooper a few minutes ago, I never dreamed of going this fast. I bought this car as a young boy. This was a dream car growing up. I never thought I'd make it go this fast, and still I'm reviewing my ticket. I'm like, there's more in it, Cooper. You can go faster.
Oh,
it's a crazy addiction.
I agree, because after I pull back from a pass, no matter if it's my personal best or not, Bronte's like, why don't you look thrilled? I'm like, well, because I'm thinking about how it goes better next time. Like, it was cool, but like, needs to go faster. But man, this car is really clean. The stuff that you guys have been doing with it on the channel is awesome. I mean, you even have power steering on here, right?
The power steering I took off.
Oh, you did take off power steering.
When I did my skinny front runners, when I did that, and my factory rack was leaking bad. And the factory rack is so expensive. So I went to manual rack and ditched the power steering.
Damn.
But factory oil pump, factory water pump. It's a pretty simple setup. There's no dry sump. There's no high dollar stuff. This is probably as badass as you can make it on a budget.
Yep. I hear you on that.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, man.
Yeah. Well, check out my reaction to riding in that. It'll be on Baltic Supra's channel. Go down in the description. It'll be on there. There it is, Baltic Supra.
Yep.
That's pretty fancy. You got it on your valve covers.
Yeah.
So nice in here. We'll talk to him about more cage off camera. All right, so just ran it on the dyno. Everything worked flawlessly. Back together. Just gonna pull the pan off, put a new gasket on, make sure there's no metal in it, and 70 on the way. Everything works just as it should. I'll show you guys what broke here. So this is our failure point. This is the main input shaft that goes into the trans. This is on the motor converter side, and it's sheared right off. And you can see that hole is where the lubrication goes in that hole and kind of comes up the shaft and goes out that one, so it broke right where it's the weakest. This is a really strong shaft. It's honestly incredibly impressive that it did actually break, but we put a beefier one in and it shouldn't break again, hopefully. I mean, it could have just gotten hot that one time and got a little more brittle, and then after a couple hits on the trans brake, she let go. So we had to actually cut it off of the gear. Super killer ATF got a freaking 1 day turnaround for me. They were prepared for me to come in, and we didn't really need any new parts besides this shaft that they happen to have a new one of on the shelf, an upgraded one. So I mean, they were surprised this one broke. This is a beefy Cohen shaft, very serious input shaft, and sheared it off like it was nothing. Tell you guys that 2JZ just makes way too much torque, you know? Well, just loaded up ATF. I didn't really show the whole build process on that one like last time, guys, because it was just a quick in and out. Didn't really you know, drag out any of it, show you guys anything really in depth at all. We they just crushed it, took it apart, flipped it, and gave it back to me same day. So really can't beat that kind of service. Again, huge shout out and thank you to the guys over at ATF. I could not have done this without them. They're just insanely good at what they do. So I will see you guys when I'm home. All right, that fresh ATF built Power Glide back home. Broken shaft with me for you know, just add to my wall of destroyed parts. And here is the trans. I just have to reroute a couple of these things. This is not how we do it. That was just how it was on the dyno. It normally goes down and kind of loops down. Put the converter back on and jam it in. So not too bad. It's like 9 o'clock right now. I should probably have it in like an hour, depending on how quickly I work. You know, when it gets to like 9 o'clock in the shop, I normally don't really push myself. I kind of just work a little leisurely if I'm not like rushing for anything, because I don't plan on racing until the front brakes are on anyways, and I'm waiting on lower control arms to the back so I can get a fresh alignment once the front brakes and everything's kind of redone, because I'm sure I have to take the whole suspension up. I might have to change some of the suspension stuff up here. Like, I'll get to that when I'm doing the brakes, but I might have to undo some suspension stuff. So time to load this thing off onto the scissor lift. The little scissor guy down there, the old pinch your fingers in at 9,000. Put the converter on and she's ready to go back in. Time to move this thing in. Oh, and another cool thing that they did was they changed up how much throw there is in the trans brake here. This is the trans brake, so you know, it just activates that. So they changed up how much throw. So there's less throw in the trans brake, so that the idea is that it'll be less aggressive on the bump box, and we can get smaller movements with small pulses. So that's the hope. We'll see how that works out. I mean, sure they know what they're talking about. I just said, okay, let's do that. Let these guys make those kind of decisions. But I'm going to start getting this thing all tweaked up and roll it under the car. Well, as you guys saw, one of my few time lapses ever, the trans is in. It is a grueling process. Laying on your back doing that trans. I can't wait to get a lift in here. I'm working towards it, guys. You guys are freaking attacking me in the comments about getting a lift. It's kind of a project. There's a few things that I haven't told you guys about why there isn't a lift in here yet, so it'll happen, don't you worry. Well, it's another day here, cranking away on the Camaro, trying to get that trans fully back in. Got the trans in, bolted up, converters in, bolted up, drive shaft in, bolted up, tight. But I ran into a little snag. So this is the third converter bolt. I only use 3. It's plenty for very high horsepower applications. And it has a little bit of a nick on one of the threads, so it's not threading in right. It would probably thread in if I really forced it, but I'm gonna try to run out and see if I can find another one. It's like a grade 8, nice piece of hardware, so I want to try to find this exact thing. But 2 of them imperfect. Just got to go try to find this last one. Probably either go to Tractor Supply or Ace Hardware, see if they have this exact one. Might have to order it, but that's all right. I got some time. I'm still gonna put the brakes on. And then I want to start cracking on this thing. I want to put this trans back in so bad. I have the new Slave. I have the new Master, should be here in a couple hours. So once those 2 are in, we can re-bleed it. And this thing is freaking ready to go test drive. And I can't wait for that. I want to go drive this thing so bad, especially with some good tires on it now. And the tune is enough. It's good enough to where I feel confident driving it. But like I said, I can't wait to go drive it. All right, trans is fully back in that thing. Just need to put fluid in it and it's good to go. Now I want to jump onto this car because I want to get some of this clutter into there, just so that there's not as much parts floating around. Put the new Slave on. Put the new fittings onto that. Gonna slap this thing back in there. Unfortunately, I will not have my Master until tomorrow, so hopefully can just put that in there, bleed it, and drive this thing tomorrow. I just have to kind of move the Camaro out of the way. But that's next step. So time to repeat the same process. Put the trans up on that scissor jack, jack up the car a little bit, roll it under there, lower the car down, and slide it up into there. Super simple with this trans. This one's easier to get in than the Powerglide, I think. They both have their struggles, but put that thing in and then we can get back to making both cars have a transmission. This is a spare trans that I had when I first got the Camaro. I put that trans in it that I got off Facebook Marketplace for like $1,000, and it was okay. It just stock case, so can't really handle any power, but it did all right. It was a 9-second trans. It'll probably go in something eventually. I just brought it out for dramatic effect for my transmission day. Got a couple more I could have brought out, but just a little bit of dramatic effect. Well, both transmissions are in. I am freaking covered in dirt from laying on the ground under that one, but that trans is in. That trans is in. Just got to put the drive shaft in and a couple other little things on this. It needs a little more fluid, but look at that. Shifters in place. Waiting on that master. And this car should be good to drive. Man. It's funny putting in 2 trans back to back like that because they both come with different issues, like lining up the Power Glide versus lining up the T56 Magnum is just very different. There's like a whole different procedure to it in a lot of ways. They both come with their own junk. All right, that's enough for today's video. Both cars are so close to being able to drive. So Friday's video, hopefully we will be driving both of them, maybe even get the 240 on the dyno, seeing how tomorrow goes. But that'll do it for this video, guys. I am freaking exhausted. I'm going inside to edit this and, you know, come back out here and start working on the next one. So thank you guys so much for watching. Keep it saucy. I will see you next time.